Oscar Mota and Miles Montana featuring Of the Village Boys. They gave us the song 10 Tau Yamavuso. 10 Tau Yamavuso batho. 10 Tau Yamavuso. Hey bana. Alright, 10 Tau Yamavuso.
Sound funny.
That's all I can say. 10 Tau Yamavuso, and leave it at that. I'm not gonna comment too much. I know you guys are from Pretoria. You have a lot to say as far as this is concerned. If you're from Pretoria, surely. Because this whole Mavuso thing originates from Kopitori.
Yeah.
So you guys, I got 10,000 no hala. And easy. No comments from me. It was none other than Oscar Mota and Miles Montana featuring the Village Boys. They gave us the song 10 Tau Yamavuso. This was abantu azifani. And without any further ado, let's dive straight into the business of the day as we talk rugby. But this time around, we'll be talking the Currie Cup, Currie Cup. That's why South African rugby legends are born in the Currie Cup tournament. This weekend, I believe it is round 3 of the 2025 Currie Cup version.
Indeed, and that's where also some of the players are showcasing that teams will beware of us. We need enough game time by also getting into the first team. So very interesting on that one. And there were matches that took place last weekend where, remember we spoke about Vodacom Bulls going to host the Sharks, but unfortunately they just ran Riot Vodacom Bulls by thrashing the side by 64-0. So
was that necessary, my Blue Bulls, but serious guys? It was too dramatic for Bulls to thrash Sharks. It's so much.
Currie Cup lessons. Those were the Currie Cup lessons. Even a coach can be dismissed, so but then
that was too much.
That was too much. It was just uncalled for the home supposed to teach out such a Currie Cup lessons at their very own Sharks, who hails from KZN, the Durban. So I'm sure the fans must have been disappointed. Like at least maybe second round we can do better. So let's wait and see. And then the ADT Lions managed a 14-19 win against the Western Province. Western Province, they seem to be struggling lately. So I don't know what's happening. We'll come back to also the results of the match that took place last night. So, and then we also saw Suzuki Griquas winning 48-39 against Polang's Cavaliers. So in some of the results that I spoke about Western Province, they managed to lock horns with the Griquas, and guess what? The Griquas thrashed them 47-17. So things are not going well for Western Province. They are not representing Stormers very well. So they are neighbors as well, as they also take some of their matches at the DHL Stadium. So, and looking at the standings as well, Griquas with that victory, from number 6 it will go number 1 on 9 points because of some of the other teams' fixtures are still pending. So they will be number 1 with 9 points, followed by Vodacom Bulls, because of Vodacom Bulls they are yet to play the third match. So they will be number 2 on 8 points. The Lions on number 3 on 8 points as well. The Cheetahs at number 4 on 5 points. The Pumas at number 5 on 4 points, level with Boland Cavaliers at number 6. And the Western Province, I suspect they might drop 8th because of that loss, because it is reduced their points.
Last night's loss.
Last night's loss, they reduced their points. So the Sharks will go 7 and then they'll go 8. So let's wait and see. I think those two, they're not doing well. They're not having points as yet. So with the fixtures that are taking place this weekend, Vodacom Bulls will host the Pumas at 3 o'clock.
Surely the Pumas will be very, very worried, considering what the Blue Bulls did to the Sharks last weekend.
And also the fact that with the Vodacom Bulls as well, the confidence under the new coach as well. They just acquired Ackerman there, so I think they'll want to do better. So the Pumas might be a worried man, especially because of the Vodacom Bulls are playing at home. I suspect it might be Loftus Stadium. But
yeah, it is Loftus.
So that's where
they slaughtered Sharks.
They slaughtered house. When we come back next week, we'll give them the results and the feedback of those and look ahead to some of the fixtures. With the other fixtures, the Sharks will host the Cheetahs. the Wounded Sharks up against the Cheetahs. The Cheetahs are
In
currently
Durban, it's in Durban.
in Durban, yeah, Kings Park as well. Now, Cheetahs are currently third on the standings, so they will want to consolidate as well their points on the standings as well. Then Boland Cavaliers up against the Lions. Lions are third after that Krikwas win, so they'll also want to push as well. So I think between the Lions and the Vodacom Bulls, whoever gets to win this weekend, they'll go top until the next fixtures will take place next weekend. But so far, the Currie Cup is very, very interesting.
Oh yes, the Currie Cup is very, very interesting indeed, especially if you look back at the last weekend results. Oh boy, Blue Bulls, you guys can be ruthless at times, the way you thrashed the Durban boys, Amar Sharks. Took off the Sharks, surely they will be locking horns. They've got a tough encounter this afternoon against the Cheetahs. It is going to be tough indeed, not going to be easy at all. Still await the Sharks, and don't forget that this season's Currie Cup matches of the Sharks, or for their home games, they will be free of charge, gratis interest. You don't have to pay a thing to go and watch the Sharks when they are playing at home. So if you are in Durban and surroundings, you know exactly what to do. Make your way to Kings Park Stadium, and you'll just go in mahala. You don't have to pay anything, so you do not have any reasons not to go and support your home side, the Banana Boys, Ama Sharks, because like I said, the insurance is free of charge, gratis.
So I think they are also looking at the fact that they want to push the United Rugby Championship. I think we spoke about it that
Yes.
next month, towards the end of the month of September, the URC will definitely return back to action the new season as well. So they're trying to bring all those number of fans to come and run behind them. Hopefully, who knows, because of, we remember they qualified for the top 8 of the quarterfinal and knockout stages, but then they didn't do well enough in that quarterfinals. So this is an opportunity for them.
They lost to the very same Bulls.
In the final, by the way.
Now in the
In the
semi-finals.
semi-finals.
They were put out.
those-
Yeah,
yes,
Sharks, they were
right.
put out by the Bulls in the semi-finals of last season's URC.
See, and
Yes.
the Bulls, I think they lost to Leinster in the final.
Yes.
Yeah, you are quite right there. So I think this is an opportunity for them to improve further, because of I've seen improvement last season, especially when they acquired the likes of Siakolisi, Makasole Mapimpe. We can name one of
It's a
them.
bad, yeah.
Andre
Esterhuizen.
There are so many.
Weekend special, Apelele Fasi.
Apparently fast. So those Springbok experienced players, so they should win the league, the what you call the URC, by the standards. But then Leinster as well will be saying we want to defend our title. But let's wait and see. It's a topic for another day. But so far, I think they need to do better. As you know, you just mentioned rightfully that the entrance is for free. They must just make sure that they improve on their marketing, which is so far a good direction.
Oh yes, so once again, if you're in KZN, Durban and surroundings, please make your way to Kings Park Stadium and support the boys in black and white. The entrance is mahala, gratis, busende bagwethu. You don't have to pay a cent to go and watch the Sharks as they entertain the boys from the Free State. That is the mighty Cheetahs this afternoon in KwaZulu-Natal, at Durban to be exact. Like you rightfully mentioned, that the Sharks, they are posting lots of Springboks players, which reminds me that come next weekend, the Springboks will get their the rugby championship defense underway, because we remember that the Springboks, they are the current champions. They won that series last season, so they get their campaign, their defense underway come next weekend. They kick off their first match against the Aussies, Australia, the mighty Wallabies. That match will take place here in Johannesburg at Ellis Park Stadium, of which 7 days later, Isagis will move down to Cape Town, Kapalodumo. They will play the second match against the very same Australia in Cape Town. So come next weekend, Saturday, the vibe will be up and running here in South Africa, Johannesburg, to be exact, as we'll be hosting that match, Springboks, as they lock horns with Australia. It is going to be tough indeed.
I like the fact that they're taking those matches to different provinces. You spoke
Yes,
about
yes.
Emirates Airline, which is formerly Ellis Park Stadium. There's also GHL Cape Town Stadium, and the next match against Argentina on the 27th of September will take place in Cape Town as well. So should I say at the Kings Park Stadium in Durban. So the fans, I think they will be spoiled as well. So hopefully they must just make sure that they buy those tickets and rally behind our very own Springboks, our winning team, 4 times champions, under the leadership of Coach our very own coach there. By the way, is the name Rassie Erasmus, yes, as well. So those are some of the actions that will be coming up in Durban, Cape Town, as well as Ellis Park Stadium currently, Emirates Airline.
Oh yes, it is happening next weekend. Ellis Park Stadium, Emirates Airlines Park Stadium. That's where the Springboks will get their defending campaign underway as they entertain, as they welcome the boys from Australia, the mighty Wallabies. It is going to be a tough indeed to come next weekend, but we hope that the home side, the mighty Springboks, they will definitely emerge very victorious as they had been doing of late.
Indeed, and they've won majority of their matches. Hopefully they will make it 5 out of 5. But then this one is a very, very important one, the Rugby Championship. So I do have the squad as well, where I've got the likes of Yoketi Aranse, Damiel Adialende, Andre Esterhazen, Apelele Fassi, Sasha Feinberg Nkomezulu, Ethan Hooker, Yesi Krill, Cheslin Kolbe, Veli Leroux, Manly Bok, Kanan Moody, Henry Pollard, Kovas Reinach, Edwin van der Merwe, Grant Williams, my favorite player by the way, and Phillips. Those are the players who will be our backs, and our forwards. We've got Julio Diakar, Peter Staff de Toit, Jan-Luc Dupree, Eben Etzebeth, Velko Lowe, Malcolm Marx, Bongi Bonambi, Franco Monstedt, Oxen Che, Ruan Norke, Asinatin Tlabaganye, Waha Smith, Archis Neyman, Marnus van der Merwe, Marco van Staden, Juan Venter, Jan Hendrik Wessel, as well as Gobos Visa. You can see that those are tried and tested players. The players who have got the PMT big match temperament. So hopefully they will put our name on the maps. But I think we do also stand a chance that in the last 95 meetings against them, we won 51. They've only won 42, accompanied by 2 draws. You can see that we can thrash them that we did with the Italians. I just like that stat when last time I spoke about Italians, that we've beaten them 101-0 in 1999. Surely we might get 50 to 60 points in this match. But as you know, Rassie Erasmus is a spoiled coach who wants points after points. You don't start the match and drop the tempo. That's why he was so upset against Italians, that we are used to thrashing them heavily. Why now drop the tempo? But at least they managed to fix that in the second game by scoring 55 to 55 runs, if memory serves me well.
Yeah, it was 42 to 25.
45 to 25. So
yes.
And then they come and score more points as well. So it was so good. So let's wait and see. The likes of Yosiya Kolisi, they'll come to the party. Hopefully, there won't be any injuries from either of all these players.
Oh yes, coming next weekend. It is happening here in Johannesburg at the Mighty Springboks. They lock horns with Australia. The Wallabies, they get their defense campaign underway. Let's hope the boys, the Rassie Erasmus boys, they will definitely do the South Africa proud once again, thrashing Australia. All will be revealed to come next week, Saturday, 7 p.m. The game gets underway at 5 p.m. So surely before 7 p.m. we'll be knowing exactly who is the winner on the day. Let's go for a breather. When we return, we'll be talking motor racing and stuff.
Do you think this Lions team would beat the All Blacks of South Africa?
Nah, man.
No?
Nah, man. Not South Africa, not at the moment, like, no.
The way they're playing at the moment, maybe not.
You got about the boys, Yeah. Beat All Blacks, not South Africa. Nah.
Do you think this Lions team would beat the All Blacks of South Africa?
Nah, man.
No?
Nah, man. Not South Africa, not at the moment, like, no.
The way they're playing at the moment, maybe not.
You got about the boys, Yeah. Beat All Blacks, not South Africa. Nah.
Getting your business seen online can be tricky and confusing. At Silly Moose Designs, we offer a comprehensive list of services that can be personalized according to your budget and your marketing goals. From hosting to ranking on search engines, we've got you covered. Visit sillymoosedesigns.co.za to get started. We'll approach your website with passion, purpose, and power. Silly Moose Designs is a proud partner of Nirvana World FM.
Ever heard a baby bellow at the top of its lungs in a public place? Far from from your best music track, right? For a more beautiful note, contact Nirvana Sounds for studio and live recordings. We engineer sound to perfection according to your specifications. We ensure crisp and clear audio-video conversions and delight your function with sound, stage, and lights for hire. Our quotes are immeasurable to the ear. Contact us now on 03 945 7664. Nirvana Sounds, powered by Gospel World Radio.
In a world where compassion is needed, Ashraful Aid lent a hand to the Palestinian refugees. A source of warmth in the chill of winter, we supported children and families in Jordan. An indication to humanity's resilience and the power of unity. Embrace the spirit of giving because every bit counts. Together we can make a difference. Donate today.
All summer long.
Spots that I'm known to rock. You hear the bass from the truck when I'm on the block. Ladies, they pay homage, but haters say Dre fell off. How? My last album was The Chronic. They wanna know if he still got it. They say raps change. They wanna know how I feel about it. You ain't up on pain. Dr. Dre is the name. I'm ahead of my game. Still puffin' my leaf. Still with the beats. Still not loving police. Still rock my khakis with a cuff and a crease. Still got love for the streets, reppin' 213. Still the beats bang, still doing my thing. Since I left, ain't too much change. Still, I'm representing for the gangsters all across the world. Still, hitting them corners and them lolos, girl. Still, taking my time to perfect the beat. And I still got love for the streets. It's the DRE. I'm representing for the gangsters all across the world. Still, hitting them corners and them lolos, girl. Still, taking my time to perfect the beat. And I still got love for the streets. It's the DRE. Since the last time you heard from me, I lost some friends. Well, hell, me and Snoop, we dipping again. Get my ear to the streets. Signed Eminem. He's triple platinum, doing 50 a week. Still, I stay close to the heat. And even when I was close to defeat, I rose to my feet. My life's like a soundtrack, I wrote to the beat. Street rap like Cali weed, I smoke till I'm sleep. Wake up in the AM, compose a beat. I bring the fire till you're soaking in your seat. It's not a fluke, it's been tried, I'm the truth. Since turn out the lights from the world-class wrecking crew, I'm still at it, after mathematics. In the home of drive-bys and acmatics. Swap meets, sticky green and bad traffic. I dip through, then I give you the DRE. For the gangsters all across the world. Still, hitting them corners and them lolos, girl. Still, taking my time to perfect the beat. And I still got love for the streets. It's the DRE. For the gangsters all across the world. Still, hitting them corners and them lolos, girl. Still, taking my time to perfect the beat. And I still got love for the streets. It's the DRE. It ain't nothing but Mohachi. Another classic CD for y'all to vibe with. Whether you're coolin' on the corner with your fly, lay back in the shack, play this track. I'm representing for the gangsters all across the world. Still hitting them corners and them lolos, girl. I'll break your neck, damn near put your face in your lap. Try to be the king, but the ace is back. So you ain't up on pain. Dr. Dre be the name, still running the game, still got it wrapped like a mummy. Still ain't tripping, love to see young blacks get money. Spend time out the hood, take their moms out the hood. Hit my boys off with jobs, no more living hard. Barbecues every day, driving fancy cars. Still gon' get mine regardless. I'm representing for the gangsters all across the world. Still hitting them corners and them lolos, girl. Still taking my time to perfect the beat. And I still got love for the streets. It's the DRE. I'm representing for the gangsters all across the world. Still hitting them corners and them lolos, girl. Still taking my time to perfect the beat. And I still got love for the streets. It's the DRE. For the gangsters all across the world. Still hitting them corners and them lolos, girl. Still taking my time to perfect the beat. And I still got love for the streets. It's the DRE. Like that? Right back up in you. 9-5 plus 4 pennies. Add that shit up. DRE. Right back up on top of things. Smoke some with your dog. No stress, no seeds, no stems, no sticks. Some of that real sticky, icky. Oh wait, put it in the air. Boy, use a fool, DR.
Oh, thank you very much to Dr. Dre and Snoopy Doggy Dogg. They gave us the song Still. Oh, let's hope they're still in a great relationship. Those two, Dr. Dre and Snoopy Doggy Dogg. Even though age is definitely not on their side. I'm sure they are the old dopies now. They were still the youngsters back in the days when they released this gem. But now, I was Snoopy. Age is not on their side. Now, Dr. Dre. There was also the likes of your boy Obo Tupeki, Tupac Shakur, and the likes of your notorious B.I.G. P. Diddy. Oh, that was the generation back then that dominated our music industry in as far as this rap music is concerned. Time now, it is 5 minutes after 12 o'clock. Good afternoon and welcome to the second and the final hour of the show, which is Sports Geek with Spodelo Ngobo here on Nevada World FM. Your beat, your music. And I'm not flying solo. I do have my partner in crime in the form and shape of Modiba Peter, teaching that for you the way you like it. The very same way our DJ Poen mixing it up for you the way you like it every Saturday morning, that is between 10 and 11 o'clock, as it brings you Teen Kids. Now, without any further ado, Formula One motor racing. McLaren. Need I say more?
We just an anthem song when it comes to F1 motor racing is concerned this current season, because of we anticipated that Max Verstappen, as the defending champion, he was going to improve or do well because of his signs were shown last season that yes, he didn't have those good season, but I think the fact that for him to be on the podium despite not winning the races, I think boosted him in terms of the points to defend his title, unlike when he did well in 2022, where he managed 22 out of 24 victory races, of which was just superb. Whereas Dennis said, while they were still in good terms, he was still in good terms with Christian Horner, the principal coach.
Yes.
Then we also got the news that the principal coach was sacked by the club, so by the Red Bull, I should say. So that's when we also had the news that Max Verstappen was rumored to go join Mercedes. But immediately after the departure of Christian Horner, the principal, he decided he's staying put with Red Bull, and let's see. So I was anticipating that last week in the Hungarian Grand Prix, because of this is the life after the principal coach Christian Horner, he was going to improve and make sure that he wins his race, so that in the next coming 10 races that were left, he'll try to push hard and catch up with Oscar Piastri as well as Lando Norris. But it looks like it's not the case. In fact, he had a dismal performance in that Hungarian Prix, where he arrived 5th in terms of 72.64 seconds, for which I was so questioning that it's unlike Max Verstappen. I can't recognize Max Verstappen currently. But the driver of the moment currently is Lando Norris, who managed to win in this
from McLaren.
McLaren, yes, against his teammate in that thrilling race of the
Piastri
against Oscar Piastri, and he did ever so well. It was 70 laps, but he managed to finish quite well. So, of which it makes things very exciting because of the ability stretching those points on the podium. So it's Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, as well as George Russell was also the third driver to come up and also do well, and in this podium as well for under Mercedes, the Mercedes which it was rumored that Max Verstappen was going to join him following the miscommunication or misunderstandings with Christian Horner, but it wasn't to be. So guess what? Currently, in terms of the standings, Oscar Piastri still tops the standings with 284. So he's won 6 races so far this season. Lando Norris, his teammate, 5 wins. Lando Norris, although he won the Hungarian Grand Prix, but he's still second in terms of the course of it's been a deja vu.
Who's that?
Lando Norris.
Norris.
He's won the Hungarian Grand Prix, but that doesn't take him top of the standings because of Oscar Piastri was also on the podium. I think those 18 points,
they make a big difference.
They make a huge difference. That's how
compound points.
Compound points. So but the gap is not that much. It's currently 9 points. 9 points lead by Oscar Piastri, 284 against 275 of Lando Norris, whom as well he's been on the podium 12 times like Oscar Piastri, his teammate. So they're really doing so well. They're very consistent for me. So Max Verstappen, 187. You can see that it's a huge gap, accompanied by I think close to 88 points. So he needs to improve in the next coming race. So only 2 wins so far this season. You can see he's having a poor season by his standards. George Russell, number 4, with 172 points. So if Max Verstappen is not careful, because currently George Russell is trailing Max Verstappen by 15 points.
Yes.
And then he does well in the next race, which is the Dutch Grand Prix. So he might overtake Max Verstappen, which means that Max Verstappen, he will be playing at his home soil come month end of the 29th of this August. So the race that is taking place in Dutch, that's where he's originally
Netherlands,
coming from. So he needs to do better. So and then Charles Leclerc, I was almost stick with the top 5. So Charles Leclerc is also number 5 on 160 points. So it's not looking good as well. So they must just push up because he has not obtained any race win, but at least because of his being on the podium,
yes,
those points do count. You are 18 points, 15 points, because the winner always is awarded 25 points. So let's wait and see. But on the car standings as well, McLaren 559, like we spoke of earlier, they really are running away with it. Ferrari 260, which means it's a huge gap. Like I've said, 299 points by the looks of things. Mercedes 236 at number 3. Red Bull 194. This is poor from
Red Bull is on at number 4
against 559. You can see that.
Yeah.
I don't see anyone stopping.
It's game over.
It looks like it's game over with the 10 races that are left. Then there's Williams already is out. They just finished amongst the top 5, but for number 5 for now, that's where they'll be finishing. So with the 10 races that are left, I see the Dutch, there's Italian Grand Prix, Azerbaijan Grand Prix, Singapore Grand Prix, United States Grand Prix, Mexico Grand Prix, City Grand Prix, Sao Paulo Grand Prix, Las Vegas Grand Prix, Qatar Grand Prix, and lastly on the 5th of December, that's where the season will be ending for F1 Motor Racing Abu Dhabi. So these are the 10 races that Max Verstappen, he needs to go all out. But for the looks of things, I see a winner between Oscar Piastri or Lando Norris winning this title, but definitely McLaren would have won it. But one of their drivers, but on the cars, obviously McLaren.
Yes, that's how things are standing as far as the Formula One motor racing is concerned. Yes, by the look of things, it looks like the McLaren boys, Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, they're definitely ruthlessly running away with it. Max Verstappen and his Red Bull team, they're definitely shade off themselves this season. Things are not coming together this season as far as Max Verstappen and Red Bull is concerned. Let's quickly go for a breather. When we return, we'll be talking football. Bolo,
The bomb squad walk on the pitch. The enemy is very scared right now. I see Bonambi, I see Jasmine and quickly they're flying right down the wing. The box are gonna win. I see Bonambi, I see the bomb squad walk on the pitch. The enemy is very scared right now. I see Bonambi, I see Jasmine and quickly they're flying right down the wing. The box are gonna win.
You're listening.
You're now listening to the best.
Coordinator Makhadzi featuring Mr. Brown Morao.
Hey, Mr. Brown, you wanna make something sick?
Thank you very much to Makhadzi featuring Mr. Brown. They gave us the song Morao Shashela Morao of the Coordinator. That's what her fans call her, Lapana Makhadzi, all the way from Limpopo, Venda, Tohoyando to be exact. That is the Coordinator herself, the MTV Award winner. Lapana Lapana Makhadzi, all the way from Kolims, that is Limpopo for you. It is the 9th of August 2025. It is definitely the Women's Month, and today it is exactly the Women's Day. Like my colleague Motiva Peter did say at the beginning of the show, that Watinda Bafazi, Watinda Imbogoda, you strike a woman, you strike a rock. They went on, they go on and say what? Musadi Utwara Tiba. There you have it. There you have it. I wouldn't have said it better myself. So surely here in South Africa it is a public holiday today. Unfortunately, for some of us who've got a contractual obligation to entertain and inform you, it's not a public holiday for us. We have to be here behind the microphone and bring you all the sporting news in as far as all the different sporting codes are concerned, that we can accommodate within these 2 hours that we have with you.
'Cause all of me loves Dominique, loves it when she's cooking curry, or even when she's rolling roti. I give her my money, spends it on groceries. She's a Liverpool supporter, one of Stanger's favorite daughters, 'cause I give her all my money, and she gives me all the food. Oh, really wish I had your money right now.
Thank you very much to Sad Pillay, who keep us entertained with those skits. That is a Sad Pillay, SED Pillay. You'll get to follow him on Facebook and across all social media platforms. You just have to love his content. Without any further ado, let's dive straight to football. Bolo Yamawodo. Yes, 2025-2026 season finally got underway last weekend here in South Africa by getting to see the MTN 8 getting underway, where the teams that finished within the top 8 bracket last season, while they were battling out for the place in the semi-final in as far as MTN 8 Wafa is concerned. The draw was out, the teams were out to try and get some wins and see themselves moving on to the semi-final. Yes, it was a successful campaign for some, but unfortunately it wasn't to be for the other teams. And Richards Bay was one of the teams that did not make it to the second round, to the quarterfinals, and to top it all, as far as Richards Bay are concerned, they lost with a huge scoreline. But luckily, we do have Motiba Peter to tell us all that and more.
Indeed, and I felt that when I watched that game against Mamelodi Sundowns, I felt like they just came in to honor their fixture. They didn't come there to come and give Mamelodi Sundowns a run for their money, considering the fact that Mamelodi Sundowns do have a bad cup record in this MTN 8. It is the Cup Hoodoo. They've only won it once when they were coached by Ngoba Mngqithi. So, but then you look at as well, they lost against the likes of Orlando Pirates, Kaizer Chiefs in the past, in the final, by the way. So they needed to improve that. But let's see, because they were just confident in that game, where I remember Ikram Reynas was one of the players who scored a brace. There was an on goal from Simpiwe Mneneka, as well as the young Siyabonga Mapena was given an opportunity to come and play. So, but it was Mamelodi Sundowns differently without Lucas Ribeiro Costa, Peter Shalulile, as well as Khuliso Mudau. As there's been some lot of, I don't know if you call it insinuations or speculations that the player Khuliso Mudau has gone on And then Lucas Ribeiro Costa is been promised a deal abroad, so we'll have to wait and see before the end of this month, because of transfer window usually closes on the last day of the month. So those I think will have a huge say regarding their future. So but then Mamelodi Sundowns, they dominate so well, they control the game so well. I think for nil wasn't enough. I think
how do you say not enough?
Wasn't a true reflection of the match, because of the
it could have been worse.
Has those half chances once again. Yeah,
who's that? Sundowns. So the score could have been 5-6.
5-6-7, yes, because of they really dominated that game. Richards Bay, they offered nothing. I think 1 or 2 half chances, but not troubling Ronan Williams by the looks of things. So it's a good win for them, because of they need this trophy, because of I've said it that the Nedbank Cup, FIFA Club World Cup, as well as CAF Champions League, they've lost them all. Adding also with the 2 Mangowa loss carrying knockout, as well as the same MTN 8. So they need to do well domestically at home. Failure to do that, they might struggle in the next coming CAF Champions League, because of they always say that their main focus is always on CAF, but you need to do well first at home.
Domestic, yes.
Yes, and then we also saw AmaZulu playing against Stellenbosch. So in that game, I saw a bad injury there from goalkeeper Richard Ofori. So he was substituted by the young Olotu Nzimela. So of which he didn't do badly. He made some good saves, but then his defenders let him down. Where we saw Sanele Bans scoring the equalizer after Keegan Allen put AmaZulu on the lead. So, but then Sanele Bans was trying to finish the ball, he collided with Richard Ofori. That's why he was bleeding, and they took him out of the pitch. So as the game progressed, AmaZulu took the lead once again. Tebogo Mashego comes to mind. Then Stellenbosch fought back and also leveled the score with a wonderful set pieces, Sanele Bans. So in fact, Sanele Bans scored first, then AmaZulu leveled the score through Tebogo Mashego. Then come extra time, I saw Devin Tatas having this groin injury, where he was substituted by midfielder Langeli Shepili, of which he scored a crack of a goal to make sure that during that second half of extra time we don't go to penalties, then they get to win this game and progress to the semi-finals. We're talking about last season's runners-up, so maybe they'll want to see themselves in the final again, because of they also spoke about how they lost controversially against Orlando Pirates, where Lebule Mufokeng cheated a bit with that ball and dished out that ball, played that ball to Tsogofatso Mabasa, who finished it with a blow. So also another match that comes to us is TS Galaxy away to School United at the very same new Peter Mokaba Stadium, where they were leading 2-0 at TS Galaxy. Goals from Puso Tshejane as well as Victor Letswalo. So but then unfortunately, the sniper Bratlo Grobler Askokuni, he managed to score a brace, brought the team back, and also
from 2 goals down.
And Vusimuzi Mncube as well scoring the winner. So the coach was just disappointed. Adnan Pekanovic, the TS Galaxy coach, of which when I watched him, he was seated on the stand, which meant that he was saving his suspension of the 4th yellow card he got last season, because of they always carry them to the new seasons.
Yes.
The cards, yellow cards, red cards there. So that's how they lost the match, and let's see, because of their next move will be in the Betway Premiership, of which will come to them shortly. So then the big one was Orlando Pirates up against Polokwane City, where Polokwane City, they lost their goalkeeper to School United, Manuel Sapunga, the Equatorial Guinea goalkeeper. Also in Apolis has just joined Orlando Pirates. Semi Siabi has left the club and went back to Chipa United. So, and also in Apolis did the damage on his former team by scoring a wonderful goal from a supplier by Siklen Duli, his former Stellenbosch midfielder there. And then no chance for goalkeeper Brian Okoth. Then there was a penalty as well, where one of the defenders, the Lebohanga, conceded a penalty, and then Patrick Masonganye stepped up and took that penalty and finished it well. So this is how Orlando Pirates won the game, because of, for me, they dominated the match. They created those half chances, but then Polokwane City, for me, they offered nothing. I felt like them and Richards Bay were just similar. And then a semi-final draw took place after the match between Mamelodi Sundowns and Richards Bay on the very same Sunday. And guess what? Orlando Pirates will go also to Mamelodi Sundowns at 3 o'clock. Come next week Saturday. I think we will do the preview of the matches when we come back. So School United will host Stellenbosch will host School United at the Danny Craven Stadium. So when I looked into these two fixtures, I go back to 2022. Remember when Jose Rivero was his first season against Mamelodi Sundowns in the MTN 8, where they drew goalless, and then the Mamelodi Sundowns took their home game to Peter Mokaba and they were thrashed 3-0 goals courtesy of Kemiti Erasmus and a brace by Muna Pulisaleng, of which if you check this current season, it's similar to that season, of which again, Mamelodi Sundowns will be saying we don't want history to repeat itself. Orlando Pirates will be saying we are eyeing for the 4th title. So you get Skukulu United as well. They played Stellenbosch at the very same time Kraven in 2022 in the semi-finals of the Nedbank Cup, where Skukulu United managed to win after extra time on penalties, of which they went on to play Orlando Pirates, and then Pirates beat them 2-1. If you can remember that season where Temingos Lodge forced a handball to Victor Letswalo while the player was laying on the floor, and then Tapalo scored the penalty. Saleng supplied the Terence Sukamanja, who scored the winner, and Pirates were winners on the day. So it's the repeat of what happened in 2022 in the MTN 8 as well as the Nedbank Cup semi-finals. So for me, when I looked into that, I think all the coaches are under pressure. You look at Abdeslam Wado, it's his first season. Orlando Pirates are saying we're eyeing for the 4th title. You look at Skukulu United, Eric Tintler, we've brought you quality, you need to deliver. So by the looks of things, when I look at the body language of Skukulu United, they're saying we've brought you quality. This is an opportunity for you to bring the trophy home. So yes, he has won it before with Supersport United. This is an opportunity for Eric Tintler to do it again. So you look at Steve Barker, you've either in the final, and also you've brought in the Carling Knockout Cup before. This time you must go for the MTN 8. Mamelodi Sundowns, Miguel Cardoso, the team has not yet won a trophy in a very long time. This is an opportunity as well. So all the coaches for me are under pressure. Let's wait and see come next weekend.
You mentioned that MTN 8 is the Hoodoo tournament for Mamelodi Sundowns. Looking at the semi-final draw that they've been pitted against the defending champions, the Kappa specialists in the form and shape of Orlando Pirates. Do you expect Mamelodi Sundowns' fortune to change this time around, or can we expect the more of the same? Orlando Pirates continue with their dominance in as far as the MTN 8 is concerned, and over Mamelodi Sundowns, especially when it comes to knockout games.
I expect the fortune to change because, Fleming Beck, the sporting director of Mamelodi Sundowns, he'll give you a powerful mandate, and he's saying nothing personal, strictly the job. This is how he got rid of Manubamniti as well as Rani Mokwena, saying that in the 5 trophies that are on board, on offer, you need to win 4 out of 5. Failure to do so, you are just being shown the door. So I am anticipating them to improve, because of if they don't get to win against Orlando Pirates this time around, because of Orlando Pirates has beaten them in the semi-finals that I spoke about, the 2022 one, then 2023 in the final on penalties. You remember Sipo Chain's 7-3 penalties, denying the likes of your junior Mendieta, Mokwena, and Pongani Zungu. So this time around, they also lost in the Nedbank Cup final, by the way, to the very same Mamelodi Sundowns 2-1.
Orlando Pirates.
And Orlando Pirates beating Sundowns at Lebole Mufokeng's winner there in the 10 minutes after the penalty equalizer by Patrick Masongani, following Tombazwani's opener. So I think pressure is more on Mamelodi Sundowns, because of, you look at Orlando Pirates head coach Abdeslam Wado, it's his first season, he's still new. So but then Orlando Pirates, they'll be very impatient of the fact that they're spoiled from winning. So they'll be saying go for it for the 4th time. So we're not so sure how they'll the philosophy of the coach. I think they will come back to Betway Premiership shortly. The game in the Betway Premierships will say a lot about his philosophy, the new coach. But Mamelodi Sundowns, you need to do something better, because of the last one in 2021 under Mangoba Mngqithi, when we won triple against Cape Town City on penalties. What a game it was! I still remember where the fans were not allowed inside the stadiums, but then the penalties were a decider, where Dennis Onyango saved 5 penalties against the former Cape Town City goalkeeper Hugo Marx. So you need to do better and make sure that domestically you do better before you go to CAF Champions League.
There you have it, South Africa. Our sports analyst in the form and shape of Modiba Peter has just called it that this time around he does expect Mamelodi Sundowns to change things around, to change the narrative. Yes, Orlando Pirates, they had been dominating MTN 8. They had been dominating Mamelodi Sundowns, especially when it comes to knockout games. But come 2025, MTN 8 knockout, he does expect Mamelodi Sundowns to change that narrative, to stop Orlando Pirates' dominance over them, of which Orlando Pirates, they had been showing season in, season out, like Modiba Peter did. I mentioned that Orlando Pirates, they had won the MTN 8 for the past 3 seasons back to back. Will Orlando Pirates go on and make it 4 times on the trot? If Modiba's prediction is anything to go by this season, it's not going to happen for Orlando Pirates. He tips Mamelodi Sundowns to say, "Aye, man, let's get this Orlando Pirates monkey off our back," and hopefully that Mamelodi Sundowns they will get back to winning ways, especially in knockout football, because we remember that Mamelodi Sundowns they have not been doing pretty well when it comes to the sprinting tournaments, which is the knockout tournament. They've been dominating and excelling when it comes to the marathon tournament, the league to be exact. They've won it 8 times on the trot, 15 times on the record in as far as PSL is concerned, with the Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs having won the league only 4 times each. Will Mamelodi Sundowns change their fortunes this time around as far as knockout football is concerned? Modiba Peter expects Mamelodi Sundowns to go out and do exactly that.
Indeed, let's also remind the listeners that it's a two-leg tie. So you play home, away goal rule, aggregate score, extra, should I say penalties, do play a role as well. There's no extra time because of it's a two-leg tie. If the two-leg ties ends in a draw, and then there's no away goal, we'll straight to penalties. So that's why I think Mamelodi Sundowns will be under pressure to deliver. Failure to do that, I foresee after this cup, because of 2 weeks or a week later on, Carling Knockout Cup will also be on the horizon, where the launch will take place as well. So Flaming Back will be watching this one.
Oh yes, it is going to be interesting indeed. Come next weekend as the Orlando Pirates host Mamelodi Sundowns. Orlando Pirates, don't forget that they are the defending champions. They've done this 3 seasons on the trot. Will Orlando Pirates go on and make it 4 seasons back to back? MTN 8. Come on, Sundowns. It is about time you get that monkey off your backs. Kuna United, they'll definitely be watching the proceedings as well. They'll love to have a say in as far as MTN 8 is concerned, especially looking at how Skokuna United signed during this off-season. Now, stepping away from the knockout football, straight to the marathon, which is the Betway Premiership, which gets underway come this afternoon. And don't forget that Mamelodi Sundowns, they are the defending champions. Should Mamelodi Sundowns go on and win this season, oh boy, they'll be making it 9 wins.
On the trot.
On the trot. Come on, Orlando Pirates. Come on, Kaizer Chiefs. Come on, Skokuna United. Come on, TS Galaxy. You can apply some brakes on this. Bring some order in as far as South African football is concerned. Don't forget Amazulu. You can also have a say in this. This Mamelodi Sundowns dominance is a little bit too much. Betway Premiership 2025-2026 gets underway this afternoon, Modiba. What can we expect? Can we expect more of the same? Mamelodi Sundowns continue with their dominance domestically.
I like that part where you say this dominance is just too much. So we're taking much of the fans. The fans keep saying, Mamelodi Sundowns won't win the league. Every season, Mamelodi Sundowns won't win the league.
And they go and win it.
Champions. Mamelodi Sundowns won't win. It's been 8 times. Every
back to back
8 titles. So it's been a song. Mamelodi Sundowns won't win the league. Then they come at the end of the season. They are consistent and they are champions. Of which it poses so many questions that what is your team doing? You're just supporting football by heart without analyzing the situations. That's why I kept saying. Even yesterday I posted something on social media that after 4 games. Ask me a question, who's winning the Betway Premiership? For now, I don't have the answer, but ask me after game number 4. That's where they were saying, hey, Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates will win the league title. Then I said, no, Asas. Come back to me after 4 matches there. So the game will kickstart this wonderful afternoon. The defending champions, as rightfully said, Mamelodi Sundowns will be opening the proceedings with an away trip there to Chippa United. The Chile boys that are coached by the new coach, Netemba Badela. He was an assistant coach to Ranino Mkwena at Mamelodi Sundowns and also at the DTC, and also they went to
so he knows Sundowns.
He knows Sundowns very well. So but then he's in a building phase by the looks of things, because Chippa United have released so many number of players, and they also acquired so many number of players. We'll come back shortly to the transfer window, of which you look at Musa Nyatama will be his assistant coach. So Musa Nyatama is also from Mamelodi Sundowns midfielder, by the way, if fans didn't know, and Orlando Pirates as well. So you look at also Mamelodi Sundowns Miguel Cardoso. I think you'll be saying, Chippa United is just our daily bread. We have always dominated this fixture, because if you can check, when they were announced or crowned champions against Chippa United at the Buffalo City last season, they thrashed Chippa United 3-0. I still remember Arthur Sales scoring one of the cheeky goals, very brilliant, as if he was trying to cross, but the ball went in the back of the net against Tony Nobali. So I must anticipate, in fact, Darren Johnson, because Tony Nobali was suspended. Looking into that game, I think Mamelodi Sundowns has got an upper hand, of which I don't know if they will cope with the absence of Lucas Rebelo Costo, Yakumiso Motau, as well as Peter Shalulile. Although they've got Leboha Mutiba, who's still waiting, Arthur Sales currently, who hasn't been bad, but the fans are very impatient with him. So it's going to be an interesting one. So the game is playing at Buffalo City in East London. So I think I'll give it to Mamelodi Sundowns because of the core of the players they've been having throughout. They're still there. It's just a matter of you're missing your top goal scorer, player of the season, footballer of the year, and the previous player who scored the goal of the season against Orlando Pirates, individual brilliance. So with Chippa United, they're still in a building phase. Yeah, although the Stoney Nobani goalkeeper is still there, but they released the likes of Tasi Shabalala, of which it poses so many questions marks because of this player was regular. Ronaldo Marman, Apelele Teto, so many players were released by the Vincent Sivion Penges, and we all know if you don't deliver, he will show you the door and dismiss you. So Senator Badela needs to make sure that he puts things on order. Failure to do so, he will be the 44th coach that will be dismissed by Chippa United because of currently they've chased away 43 coaches since their inception in the Betway Premiership. And Chippa United,
happy right there.
You see, and Chippa United just came in, I think, around 2013 or 2014 in the campaign. So it's just too much.
43 coaches fired already.
Coaches fired. So let's see, because of Morgan Mamila, it seems like they've been deployed elsewhere. So because of Snesipo Mali, yes, he is the director of the club by the looks of things. Let's wait and see. Come this afternoon at the Buffalo City against Mamelodi Sundowns are the Chili Boys. The next fixture, but playing at the same time 3 o'clock, is Amazulu up against the newcomers Orbit College. So Athazon is also in a building phase because of he released plenty of players as well.
Mainly senior players.
You are Abubakar Mubara, Ramatlon Pahlele, Feli Motwa as well, who's just doing tax as well. Ethan Brooks. It was Ikodaro, who was on loan from Mamelodi Sundowns, is also released by the club. So he is in the building phase. He's supporting the likes of Kiken Allen, who scored on debut match. So let's wait and see, because of if he doesn't do well, he will be under pressure. Because of last weekend, I was listening to the comments that were offered by the owner, the Sandile Zoom, stating that their main priority this season is to finish among the top 4. Will it happen? Because we last saw that when they were coached by Benny McCarthy. So he needs to.
They were second, I believe.
They were second, yes. And they even played in the CAF Champions League, where they met against teams like Horoya, of which they tend them their chances of progressing to the knockout stages of the CAF Champions League. So they're playing against Boriso Mahoye, the coach of Orbit College, who is very, very enthusiastic and happy that the team is doing well. Although they didn't sign many, but I'm anticipating the experience of Munapuli Saleh to help them and make sure that they get those results. So hopefully they should sign more players, experienced players, to assist the team I think the game, if not mistaken, is taking place at the Kings Olitini or Moses Mapida, because of 2 venues have been mentioned, which confuses me, but I suspect it's Moses Mapida, because Amazulu usually plays their home matches at the Moses Mapida Stadium. Then let's go to Richards Bay up against Marumo Gallants, the same Richards Bay that was thrashed by Mamelodi Sundowns last weekend. And then we check Marumo Gallants, Alexandra Lafite, the new coach, 28 years old. When I looked into his track records, I realized that the coach has achieved. You've got your UEFA license, you've won the league with Saidi Abidjan, you've coached PSG youth. So at a young age, but you've got some few achievements. So
yes.
It looks very, very interesting. On the other side, you look at Richards Bay, you are on Gabriel Sokumete, those 3 co-coaches, Papi Zotwani. You need to deliver. You are in a building phase as well, because of you released good players, the likes of Yana Lambotoma, who has joined Orlando Pirates.
Yes.
Seminan Zundwana, I don't know why, because it's a regular player as well. At the back, Ngoskonanda has just joined Orlando Pirates. So I tried to look at that. I couldn't understand the style of play, but you've got those good players. You have like Sani Mtetwa, Moses Mtembu, who are capable of having that ball in the middle. But then you need to make sure that when you've got the ball, you take it to the right directions. Justice Figueiredo as well was released, which the Eswatini player there. I don't know why, because it was also regular. There are so many things that are happening. I think for me they need to have a combination play. Failure to do so, they'll find themselves struggling. So it's another game that is taking place at I suspect, Kings Olitini, because of Amazon will definitely play at the Moses Mapida. They also mentioned that Umhlatuze, so some bit of crisis that will happen as far as the weather there by the Umhlatuze, so they're still going to fix it. It will be available for action midweek when the same Richards Bay will be playing away from home against Golden Arrows. So they're still fixing that particular venue. There's so many things that happened before this action will take place. Then Polokwane City will host Magesi. Putume Hafi, I watched him against Orlando Pirates. I wasn't impressed because if you check Polokwane City, they didn't sign any players in this transfer window.
But they lost the key player. Osina
Police,
Police.
the goalkeeper Manuel Sapunga.
So they lost Police and they did not replace him.
They did not replace him. They only got in
Recipe for disaster.
Yes, recipe that you said it last weekend. 2 players from the ABC Mutsepe, but it's not enough. You need players that can combine with those other players. You are not Mapangule. I didn't see Kule Alexander, so I don't know what's happening. They don't have an out-and-out striker. So of which is a recipe for disaster as well. You are playing Kaizer Chiefs come next week Wednesday. So you need to start well. And Kaizer Chiefs will be saying you need us an opportunity to qualify for top 8 when you get that goalless draw at FNB Stadium. So they're playing Makesi, who are under the leadership of John Matuka. So they also released a high number of players. I'll come back to their players because they've just signed announced 8 to 9 players in their team yesterday. So I'll come back to that shortly. Then let's see if because last season it was also the first game of the season, but Polokwane City managed to win that game 2-0. So John Maduka tactically as he is, so I think we will be looking to do well going forward. So Elvis Chipesesa comes to mind as well. Some of the players that are still with the club. Hopefully John Mokoni as well, his brother, so they'll want to do well at the back because they conceded so many goals last season. Amakesi. So let's go to Escotini Skamamizela at Orlando Stadium. While I was passing there on my way to the studio, I saw that busy preparing for this encounter. SuperSport is already there in preparation to the setup there. So Eric Tintler against his former team Orlando Pirates. We've got your Linda Mtambo, your Tabang Monare, who want to prove a point on the other side.
That's Coconut
United for you. Gedezo Makhala as well. Daniel Cardoso will be saying we're going to repeat last season's result where we beat Orlando Pirates at the very same venue, Orlando Stadium 1-0. Courtesy of Trezor Yamba Chibwaba, who scored a wonderful header there. And Orlando Pirates have seen with their weakness that they are not good in terms of defending those set pieces. So they need to make sure that they improve and that. Although they've got those good players, Yohan Mbekazeni Mbokazi and Kosnati Spisi, whom last week I stated on the show that but he didn't play against Polokwane City. Bujume Radipalo was the one who started the match. Then those two were not even available on the bench, Evidence Mahupa and Sofatso Mavas. So which poses so many question marks there. So then you've got good signings, Yasiklen Duli, Tsapang Moremi, who were introduced by the coach, and Lambo Tuma as well. Good signs are there, potential is there. Then they need to make sure that they start well at home. Because of last week, we experienced a sold out affair. Maybe it can be the case even tonight, but Sukun United will be saying we are of course upset. We've got quality with us as well. Like I spoke about your problems, Puma Tlangu, in the middle of the park, you've got the Ndamtambo, Tabang Monare, Gerezo Makhalwa. So yeah, they've got quality as Sukun United. Ronaldo Lina in goals against Chico Chain of Orlando Pirates, who's been doing well ever since he's been introduced by Eric Tintler and forced the goalkeeper Ali Sangare and Lloyd Kazapua to be released by the club. Then they brought in Tristan Sabata and also signed Emmanuel Sapunga from Polokwane City. So those are good, huge signings, of which the mandate might be powerful from Mr. Malachi. And we also saw that they are also doing well off the pitch, where they even made some foundations, like Orlando Pirates as well. It's just announced that they've got a partnership with Amstel, which is credit to Mpumi and Kosana, the sons of Dr. Ivan Kos. So they're doing well so far. So Suele FC against Golden Arrows. Disholo Siema against his former team. Remember, he was sacked by Golden Arrows after he was thrashed 6-0 by Bamidou Sanders during his days at Golden Arrows. I think this game will have mixed emotions with him as well. So Mangoba Mngiti will also want to start well, considering the fact that he performed poorly last season. And some of the players, remember when he came in, the likes of Nox Mutiza, Tabani Zuke, were released by the club. So there were so many things that this is the same incident we've seen at Mamelodi Sundowns when he didn't have good terms with Kulisomo Dau as well as Teboho Mokoena. So FC, the Toronto same is in charge. I've seen some of those players, Christian Sali are still there. So they added also some few signings. I saw Bukhebu Yezam Kwanazil will come back to the
what a comeback.
Exactly. So
after a long time. Since COVID days.
Since COVID days. And then also he spoke about religion hindering him from continue to play. So
because I believe he refused to take the COVID-19 jab. He refused. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why he had to be released, because he refused to take the COVID-19 injection.
And he was doing so well during those days at Supersport and also beat First Feds. I remember he played with the likes of Bongano Kumalo Tlani, Yori Frosler, and Sifiso Tlani. And they were forming a good partnership that reminded me when they were crowned champions of the Betway Premiership while it was still called Absa Premiership. Let's go to tomorrow's fixtures. TS Galaxy, the Rockets will host Durban City. Gavin Hunt up against Adnan Bekanovic. So you also want to do well because I've seen the likes of Darren Keat have been signed by the club. Tawono Dada as well. So let's wait and see because of they started poorly in the MTN 8 and at the very same time the experience that is Gavin Hunt has brought in the club. Hashim Domingo, you are running human. So maybe they'll help the team perform well at the Bombast. And Bosch will host Kaizer Chiefs. That's a big game of the weekend. Sold out affair. Stellenbosch will be saying it's a crash game. Kaizer Chiefs, we've beaten us 3 times on the trot last season, and this time around, when I look at Kaizer Chiefs in terms of stats, they always do well whenever they go to Athlone Stadium. They either win or draw the match. So, and last season they defeated Stellenbosch twice. Should I say 1-0 there? So it's a crash game. They will be seeking revenge as dailies. But then we also got the breaking news that Nasreddin Nabi will not be on the bench for tomorrow's encounter, judging from the fact that his wife was involved in a car accident. So Khalil Youssef as well as Cedric Kaze will be on the bench for the club. So let's see if they will be able to do well because of both teams. They need to start better. So and 3 points will definitely be crucial. So after 4 games, I'll bring the answer to you as to who will be crowned champions come the end of the season. I think majority are very curious with this one. So very, very interesting. Let's just quickly rush to the midweek fixtures. Marumo Gallants will host Orlando Pirates. So it's an interesting one. Once again, Abdul Salam Odo against his former team. 7:30 kickoff. That will be on the 12th of August. Orbit College will host Swelele FC. Let's wait and see. Lehlano Sema against Bogiso Mahoye at the Olympia Park Stadium in Rustenburg. Amazulu will visit Mamelodi Sundowns at the Loftus Stadium. Let's see, because Mamelodi Sundowns have always been dominant on this fixture, just like the Chippa United one. So Athazwani will look to cause an upset. Let's wait and see. And then on Wednesday, Orlando Arrows host Richards Bay in a KZN derby. 7:30. Kaizer Chiefs will play Polokwane City, the repeat of the last game last season, which ended goalless, and Polokwane City have always given Kaizer Chiefs a tough run for their money. So Kaizer Chiefs, the match does improve because of they always struggles against teams which lacks a low block, just like Polokwane City are always doing against the big giants there. Makesi FC will host Stellenbosch. At the very same, I suspect it will be Sishogo Stadium, and they managed to surprise Stellenbosch 1-0 last season, when I remember so well. Durban City will host Chippa United at home. I suspect it might be at the Chatsworth Stadium because of they no longer use Harry Kwala.
Yes.
It was for Royal EM, but this time it's Durban City up against Chippa United. That's Gavin Hunt's former team as well. So Snetemba Patela there. So I think he will be tested if he's experienced enough or not, because he's still young when I look at the young coach there. Very confident and enthusiastic about preparations going into the new season. Skoko United will host TS Galaxy. This is the repeat of what happened in the MTN 8 quarterfinals. I think it will be a crash game. TS Galaxy will be seeking revenge at the same venue, New Peter Mokaba Stadium.
And then I come tomorrow, you rightfully mentioned that the clash between Kaizer Chiefs and Stellenbosch down in Cape Town, it is a sold-out affair. And you went on and mentioned that last season, in this fixture, Stellenbosch, they lost 3 times against the Kaizer Chiefs. Officially, 2 of the occasions, Stellenbosch, they felt a little bit hard done. Talk of Stellenbosch feeling a little bit hard done in their encounters against the Kaizer Chiefs last season. Let's hear what their manager Steve Barker has to say in as far as the Stellenbosch versus Kaizer Chiefs clash is concerned. He's the Stellenbosch head coach in the form and shape of Steve Barker for you. It looks like we're not.
One game that you don't have to motivate. Obviously, Chiefs bring a big crowd to the stadium. Players, they are performers. So, just the fact that there's a big crowd will really, get them motivated. And obviously, playing against Chiefs is also a big motivating factor. So, it's one of a long campaign of 30 games a season. So it's always important to get off to a good start. We know the value of staying in touch right at the beginning of the season. We've prepared well. We had a nice, good, competitive game on the weekend, and looking forward to which will be a tough encounter, but really looking forward to the challenge and getting off to a good start. I think it was one of the if I look back at last season, there was a lot of highlights, but if one had to ask me, what was frustrating for you from last season, I think it was having lost all 3 games to Chiefs. And in 2 of the 3, I felt that we're a little bit unlucky not to at least get a point or take the game into extra time. So there was a bit of a sore point for us. But as I said earlier, you can't dwell in the past. We've got some exciting new players that have joined the club. Chiefs have also signed some really good players. They've had a really good pre-season, and I'm sure the expectations on the club and from the fans is for them to achieve a lot more than what they have. So, we're expecting a big, tough match on Sunday. But we're getting used to playing in these type of matches and the pressures that they bring. So I'm sure that we'll be up for the game.
You played with Steve Lepele.
That was the Stellenbosch head coach in the foremanship of Steve Barker in anticipation of tomorrow's encounter. Stellenbosch versus Kaizer Chiefs in that sold-out affair. The sold-out sign went yesterday morning. So if you are anywhere around Cape Town and you are still thinking of going to that match, Kaizer Chiefs as they visit Stellenbosch, just forget about it. The tickets are all sold out. Quote unquote, Stellenbosch head coach Steve Barker, he said 2 of those games that we played against Kaizer Chiefs last season, it was a hard pillar a bitter pillar to swallow. We strongly feel we should have won that game, but we're not going to dwell too much into the past. Fast forward to tomorrow's game. What can we expect between Stellenbosch and Kaizer Chiefs, considering those utterances by the Stellenbosch head coach Steve Barker, feeling that 2 of those games against Kaizer Chiefs that they lost, they were hard done. They were unfortunate to lose that match. Then tomorrow they've got a chance to do it all over again and rewrite history books. And Kaizer Chiefs definitely they will have to get their campaign on the positive note. What can we expect tomorrow? Kaizer Chiefs, will they get their campaign on a positive note, or will Stellenbosch redeem themselves and rectify the mistakes that that led to Kaizer Chiefs beating them last season?
Okay, he spoke about how they lost 3 times. I remember when Kaizer Chiefs was celebrating their 55th birthday, that's where they lost 2-1 Stellenbosch at FNB Stadium. I think Kaizer Chiefs that deserve to win. In that 3-1 as well. Kaizer Chiefs, yes, the controversially that he's referring to is that of Josh Matlow managed to push goalkeeper Sage Stevens and Pulemori scored the ball there. So that's where he's always crying about. And also the 1-0 one, I think for me, Kaizer Chiefs deserve to win that game because of the Stellenbosch. For me, when I watched them, they offered nothing except for them scoring in from standard situation in that 3-1 loss. So for me, Kaizer Chiefs deserve to win those matches. Just as Steve Barker was displeased with the referee, but for me, Kaizer Chiefs deserve to win that play. But going into tomorrow, as you know, they only lost the players like Sitlin Duli, Ismail Torre, the Ivorian with Brian Onyango. Those are the players that have left the club. So I think they've just brought in a new makeshift of Atunkosi Mkaba alongside Thabo Maluisane. So of which Kaizer Chiefs will want to capitalize on that defense, although they signed one of their players from the development as well. So you look at in the middle of the park, they're still having the same players. Sanele Pans, who scored a praise, will definitely be an impact player. But my only worry is Steven Tetas, whom you got an groin injury. You know, groin injury is always a tricky injury whereby you can sit even 6 months without playing, of which I saw one of the youngsters that has been introduced, Langile Pili, coming in and scoring a crack of a goal. There's Omega Mtaka, the former Kaizer Chiefs development player, who's playing at left back at the very same Stellenbosch. But they are capable of playing the ball. They're capable of causing problems. They're capable of not giving up whenever they've got the ball. But Kaizer Chiefs will be boosted that their fans are coming in numbers. They don't lose matches, too many matches at the Athlone Stadium. So the absence of necessarily Nabi, I don't know if it will play a key role. But you look at the back, they're still okay and balanced. The only problem with Kaizer Chiefs is up front, of which I'm not convinced when I watched Flavio Silva, because of there's too many criticisms from the fans about his performance. Hopefully he has fixed up that during practice. But for me, I foresee a lovely draw because of Stellenbosch. You will see we can't afford to lose 4 times on the trot against Kaizer Chiefs.
Our sports analyst in the foremanship of Matiba Peter, he expects a lovely draw come tomorrow at Stellenbosch as they host the Kaizer Chiefs down in Cape Town, Ekapa Eloduma. Time is definitely not on our side, but before we sign off, let's quickly step away from domestic football to international football. CHAN is currently taking place in the eastern region of Africa, co-hosted by Tanzania, Uganda and Kenya. As South Africa is also represented in that tournament by our our senior football team in the form and shape of Bafana Bafana led by Molefi Ntseki Modiba. Talk to us, what's going on as far as a Chen tournament is concerned?
Hey, it looks like we're going to start badly, but unfortunately, Tawiso Kutumela
yes.
comes to mind. I think he rescued a point. He made sure that he scored the winner in the 10 minutes of the game, of which we tried our best because of one of our defenders was the man of the match of that game, Malibongo Khoza, and Mamelodi Sundowns player.
Yes.
So, and I think it was a good way of bouncing back of the fact that we looked like we were going to lose the match against Algeria. So 1-1, I think in our Group C, we'll definitely go third because we're still trailing with one more game to play. We need to start picking up those points. I'll just quickly rush to the fixtures. Central African Republic up against Mauritania at 4 o'clock. Tanzania will host Madagascar at 7 o'clock. And then Morocco will travel to Kenya at 2 o'clock, that is tomorrow on Sunday, and also Zambia up against Angola, 5 o'clock tomorrow on Saturday. Those are the fixtures of the channel. With South Africa, Bafana, we will be playing against Guinea on Monday, 4 o'clock, and then followed by Uganda at 7 o'clock against Niger. Then another match on Friday against Niger. That's our Bafana. So good luck to them. Let's see if Molefi Ntseki will be able to qualify and take the team into the knockout stages.
Oh yes, all the best to Bafana as far as the Chen is concerned. That is currently held out in Eastern Africa. That is co-hosted by Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya. Talking of Kenya, they are coached by the former Bafana player in the form and shape. In the 18th area, Kharasha, there is none other than Benny McCarthy. He is the current head coach of Kenya. Just quickly, I know you have touched us on some of the transfer news. Are there any big signings that worth noting? I know you, like I said, you have covered some of them. You don't necessarily have to go through all of them.
Yeah,
so are there any newsworthy signings that we can just wrap things up with?
Let me quickly check my case. There's Regan van der Roos from Durban City, Khomotso Mosadi. I think he once played for Castle Stars, I remember very well. Vincent Mashego, Banele Gama, Hotatso Mariba, Edise Siani, Wanda Boemakube has returned back after a loan to Skukuni, although he was playing for Makesi last season.
Yes.
So Mngeti Vandala as well. So, and also Swelele FC, I spoke about Butlemu Mkwanazi, Lewile Mokuane, the former Cape Town City there. Kokechos Khodisho, Thabo Magele, alongside, you remember Wade Lekay, who used to play for TS Galaxy. Then he went on to play Cape Town City. So those are the signings for Swelele FC. With Chippa United, I spoke about Goodman Musele. Has been brought back by the club from Pirates.
Yes.
So he will be playing for Chippa United, and that's Netemba Patela. Tulani Mini, who was currently at the DDC of Stellenbosch, has been brought in by Chippa United. I think Chipampeng is busy, but then always in a building phase. So with Durban City, I spoke about the reunion of Supersport, Vitivas Vets, Hashim Domingo, Darren Kit, Spelele Mtembu. There's this other Spelele Mtembu, not the one that we know. This one is 20 years old. From a youngster.
Not Shaka Zulu.
Not Shaka Zulu, yes. Who was playing for Snengani FC. Then also Tabono Dada. So I think Gavinant is busy in the market, but then my advice to him, he must just play a full fluent football, not this scope and donor football where you want to score on crosses and standard situations. So modern football has changed for me. So those are the signings up to so far.
Oh yes, may the best team win, especially when it comes to Betway Premiership, which gets underway this afternoon. And be reminded that Mamelodi Sundowns, they are the defending champions. Will they go on and make it 9 times on the trot, or will Abu Honor Perez, Kaizer Chiefs, Siwelele FC, Marumo Gallants, Abu Richards Bay FC, Polokwane City spoil the party? Nabo Skukuni United spoil the party for Mamelodi Sundowns, who will definitely become the serial league winners in as far as South African domestic league Premier League is concerned. May the best team win this afternoon and tomorrow and come end of the season. Who will it be? Will it be Mamelodi Sundowns yet again? Only time will tell. And then in the national level, don't forget that come tomorrow in the T20 cricket, the Proteas South Africa, they do lock horns with their old fools in the form and shape of Australia. That match gets underway come 11 a.m. South African time. And then on Monday, like Motiba Peter did mention, that come 4 o'clock, Bafana they will lock horns with Guinea in that Chen tournament. And then come next weekend, Saturday, here in Johannesburg, there are 4 times World Cup champions in the form and shape of the mighty Springboks. They get their rugby championship defense underway as they lock horns with their old fools as well in the form and shape of Australia. The mighty mighty Wallabies. They will be here in Johannesburg. Emirates Airlines Park is the venue. That's where the Springboks will welcome Australia, the mighty Wallabies. How will it be from the South African perspective? We hope that it will be the men in green and gold, the mighty Springbok. We'll definitely preview that match for you come next week, Saturday. On that note, Madiba, I guess it's time for us to sign off.
Indeed, yeah, it's been a lovely show, and once again, let's meet again next weekend, and a lot is taking place. The tennis fans out there, Cincinnati is on the horizon.
Yes.
Monday will kickstart next week, will bring the results, and also the football results as well. EPL also will be starting next weekend on the 16th. Very, very interesting there. So yeah, it's a very good afternoon from your very own sports analyst, Mutiba Peter.
Talk of EPL, don't forget that this weekend it is the charity match that is between the FA Cup winners in the form and shape of Crystal Palace, who stunned Manchester City last season in that final. In so doing, Crystal Palace, they saw themselves winning their first ever official trophy as far as the English football is concerned. They will lock horns against the Premier League champions in the form and shape of Liverpool. That is the charity match. Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. Will Crystal Palace go on and stand the league champions like the same way they did when they stand Manchester City last season in the FA Cup final? Come at that time, all will be revealed. May the best team win. That is between Crystal Palace and Liverpool in that charity shield. Till then, I am Spanner Ngobo. Let's do this once again. Come next week, Saturday, same time, same place here on Nirvana World FM. Till then, it is.
Bye-bye. Adios.